How much did this house cost?
$300,000.
That is way too cheap.
And it's so beautiful.
$300,000 Barndominium is truly 3 times better, or simply 3 times more expensive. By the end of this video, you'll know whether $300,000 is the sweet spot for building your dream Barndominium, or one of the easiest budgets to overspend. Before we break down the numbers, welcome to Barndo Dreams, secrets they don't tell, where we uncover the real costs, hidden upgrades, and builder secrets behind today's most incredible Barndominiums. If you're planning your dream Barndo, or simply want to avoid expensive mistakes, subscribe and turn on notifications. Now, let's find out if a $300,000 Barndominium is really worth the price. Let's start with the biggest claim in the Barndominium world. You've probably heard people say, a $300,000 Barndominium gives you 3 times more than a traditional home. But is that actually true? The answer is yes and no. A traditional home and a Barndominium can cost surprisingly similar amounts. The difference isn't always the price, it's what your money buys. With a $300,000 budget, a traditional home may give you a comfortable house. A Barndominium, however, can often include that same living space plus a large garage, workshop, RV storage, or barn, all under one roof. That's where the 3 times more idea comes from. But here's the mistake many buyers make. More square footage doesn't automatically mean a better home. It all depends on how that extra space is designed, finished, and used. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover next. Let's ground this in real numbers instead of marketing language. Across current 2026 data, a fully finished Barndominium typically runs somewhere between $65 and $200 per square foot, with most standard, comfortable builds landing in the $100 to $185 range. At $300,000, that means you're realistically looking at somewhere between 1,500 to 2,800 square feet of finished living space. And that's before land, site work, or a workshop are factored in. In pricier regions, or with a large attached shop added on, that number can shrink fast. So the honest starting point is this. $300,000 buys a solid, mid-range Barndominium. It does not automatically buy 3 houses worth of value. It buys 1 well-built home. And how much extra you get depends entirely on your finish level and your region. Now, here's where Barndominiums genuinely start to pull ahead. Smart design. The steel frame, post-frame structure behind a Barndo allows for wide, open spans without load-bearing walls, which means you can design large, column-free living areas that would cost significantly more to frame in a traditional stick-built home. Popular 2026 layouts lean into this heavily. Vaulted great rooms, exposed truss ceilings, and lofted spaces built above the garage or shop that add usable square footage without expanding your foundation footprint. A loft over an attached shop, for example, can become a home office, guest suite, or media room for a fraction of what a full second-story addition would cost on a conventional home. This is genuinely one of the places where a Barndominium can outperform a traditional build dollar for dollar. Not because it's magically cheaper everywhere, but because the structural system rewards open, efficient design. Other popular 2026 additions include wraparound porches for cheap outdoor living square footage, sliding barn doors between rooms to save on framing and swing clearance, and standing seam metal roofing that stretches maintenance intervals out for decades. None of these features are exotic or expensive on their own. They're simply choices that lean into what the structure is naturally good at, instead of fighting it. Here's an insight most cost calculators completely ignore. Not all square footage costs the same. Shop and garage space in a Barndominium is dramatically cheaper to build than finished living space, because it skips insulation to living standards, HVAC, plumbing, and interior finish work entirely. That's the real engine behind the more for your money reputation. A savvy floor plan pairs a modest, efficiently finished living area with a larger unfinished or semi-finished shop space. which pulls your blended cost per square foot down significantly. This is also where the 3 times claim gets its teeth. If half your build is inexpensive shop space, your total square footage genuinely can be 2 to 3 times larger than an all-finished traditional home for similar money. The trade-off, though, is that you're comparing finished living space to a mix of finished and unfinished space, which is exactly the kind of detail that gets left out of the headline number. Even with the marketing stripped away, barndominiums do offer real, measurable advantages. Steel framing typically costs about 5% more in materials than wood, but labor costs run roughly 50% lower, since post-frame construction erects faster with fewer trades involved. Most builds complete in 3 to 6 months, noticeably faster than comparable stick-built timelines. And durability is a genuine long-term selling point. A well-maintained metal frame barndominium can last 50 years or more, with some builders citing lifespans well beyond that with proper upkeep. None of that requires exaggeration. The honest case for barndominiums is already strong without inflating the numbers. Mistake 1. Confusing a kit price with a finished home price. Kit shells run roughly $20 to $50 per square foot, and that number gets quoted constantly online. But it excludes foundation, insulation, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, drywall, flooring, and fixtures, which typically make up the majority of your total cost. Mistake 2. Forgetting land and site work. Clearing, grading, well, septic, and utility hookups can easily add $20,000 to $60,000 before construction even starts. And that's money that doesn't show up in most per square foot comparisons. Mistake 3. Treating shop space and living space as equally valuable. A 1,000 square foot barndo that's half unfinished shop is not the same asset as 2,000 square feet of finished living space, even though the total square footage looks identical on paper. Mistake 4. Underestimating resale variability. Barndominium appreciation tends to average around 2 to 3% annually, compared to roughly 4% for conventional homes, and demand is still narrower outside barndo-friendly states like Texas, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. That doesn't make barndominiums a bad investment. It just means the 3 times the value pitch doesn't hold up the same way at resale that it does on move-in day. So it pays to build with long-term livability in mind, not just square footage bragging rights. If you're seriously considering a $300,000 barndominium, price the entire project, not just the shell. That means land, foundation, permits, utilities, insulation, interior finish out, and a contingency fund on top of whatever quote you get for the structure itself. Always confirm your local zoning allows residential use of a post frame or metal building, since requirements vary significantly by county, and some jurisdictions still classify metal frame homes differently than conventional houses for permitting purposes. Get a real, itemized quote that separates finished living space from shop or garage space, so you know exactly what you're paying for per square foot in each zone of the build. Financing. Financing a barndominium can be more complicated than financing a traditional home. Many conventional mortgage lenders are still cautious about post-frame and metal building construction, partly because appraisers in some areas have limited comparable sales to work from. That means buyers often end up using construction loans that convert to a standard mortgage once the home is finished. Some regions, particularly established barndo markets like Texas and the Southeast, now have lenders who specialize in this exact product. If you're building somewhere with fewer barndominiums on record, budget extra time for the loan process. Insurance and long-term costs. Steel frame construction is generally durable and fire-resistant, which some insurers reward with favorable rates, but availability varies by market. Metal exteriors hold up extremely well against rot, pests, and weather compared to wood siding, but large open shop spaces mean more square footage to heat, cool, or keep dry, especially if left semi-finished. So, is a $300,000 barndominium really 3 times better? The honest verdict, sometimes in specific ways, but not automatically and not across the board. If your plan pairs a modest finished living space with a larger shop or garage, you genuinely can end up with 2 to 3 times the total square footage of a comparable stick-built home for similar money. But if you're expecting 3 times the finished living space, 3 times the resale value, or 3 times the overall home for the same price, the real 2026 numbers don't support that. What you're actually buying is efficient design, faster construction, and a structural system that rewards smart planning, which is valuable on its own, without needing to round it up to 3 times better. That's it for this episode of Barndominium Secrets They Don't Tell You. If this saved you from an expensive assumption, make sure you're subscribed, because next time we're tackling a question just as important. Which Barndominium kit is actually worth your money? We're breaking down the kit companies everyone recommends, what they actually include, and where the hidden costs are buried. You will not want to miss it. See you in the next one.